During the final phase of World War II, the German High Command relied heavily on radio intelligence to understand Allied troop movements. They believed that if they could decipher the patterns of wireless communication, call signs, message volume, operator habits, they could map the locations of Allied divisions even when no scouts or reconnaissance planes could reach them. What they did not know was that the Allies had learned to weaponize this belief. And in 1944, on the eve of the most critical operations of the war, Allied codebreakers and radio deception teams executed one of the most remarkable tricks in military history. They created an entire fake division out of thin air, complete with officers, radio traffic, logistics reports, encrypted chatter, and routine message discipline. A division that never existed, yet one the Germans were absolutely convinced was real. The story begins not with Hollywood inflatable tanks or decoy trucks, but with a handful of radio operators trained in a secret discipline known as wireless deception warfare. These are not simple radio men. They were specialists who could mimic the unique handwriting of a German or Allied radio operator. Every radio operator develops a personal rhythm, subtle variations in timing, spacing, and pressure when transmitting Morse code. German intelligence knew this and exploited it. They identified Allied divisions by recognizing the fist of individual operators. It was so reliable that even if an operator changed units, the Germans could follow them. The Allies understood this vulnerability and turned it into a weapon. In early 1944, as the Allies prepared for Operation Overlord, the deception plan required convincing the Germans that the main Allied landing force would strike Pas-de-Calais, not Normandy. To support this lie, the Allies needed not just inflatable tanks or fake camps. They needed radio traffic, hours, days, weeks of it. They needed a division that lived on the airwaves. The task fell to the 23rd Headquarters Special Troops, better known today as the Ghost Army. But few people realized that their most important component was the Signal Company Special, a team of elite radio deceivers. Their mission: imitate the radio signature of a U.S. First Army Group, including the non-existent 14th Army Division. If the Germans believed this division was stationed near Kent, preparing to attack Calais, they would keep Panzer divisions hundreds of kilometers away from Normandy. Allied radio deceivers spent weeks studying genuine radio logs, both their own and German intercepts, to understand what a real division sounded like. They replicated daily routines, message exchanges, supply requests, weather reports, even personal quirks. Each operator trained to mimic the fist of different imaginary operators. They transmitted short, medium, and long-range signals, switching frequencies exactly as German intelligence would expect, maintaining discipline and tone. Meanwhile, Bletchley Park monitored German Enigma traffic to see if the deception was working. Every day, decrypted messages revealed the German High Command adjusting their strategic assumptions. German analysts confidently reported the presence of an entire Allied formation that did not exist. They assigned strengths, commanders, and potential attack routes to this phantom division. They believed its radio traffic because it was perfect, realistic, consistent, and aligned with their own preconceptions. But the brilliance of Allied radio deception did not end at D-Day. Later that year, as the Allies advanced through France and Belgium, they used wireless deception to cover gaps in the line. When divisions moved secretly at night, radio teams stayed behind for days, continuing to broadcast the exact same traffic patterns so the Germans would not realize the unit had relocated. This technique saved thousands of lives during the Battle of the Bulge, when German forces attempted to exploit weaknesses they believed existed in the Allied front. In several cases, radio deceivers created phantom units to make the line appear stronger. German commanders hesitated to attack, believing they faced divisions that were hundreds of kilometers away. One of the most remarkable episodes occurred in September 1944, when a small Allied signal deception team accompanied a reconnaissance group near Luxembourg. Their mission was to imitate an entire armored division for 72 hours to prevent the Germans from launching a surprise attack against a dangerously thin section of the American line. The team operated 12 radios simultaneously, shifting call signs, sending fake encrypted reports, and imitating officers discussing fuel shortages, tank repairs, and reconnaissance sightings. German SIGINT units intercepted every one of these messages and concluded the sector was heavily reinforced. In reality, it was defended by fewer than 500 men. Allied command later wrote that without this deception, the Germans would have attacked and broken through, forcing a major withdrawal. The entire front was saved not by tanks or artillery, but by 6 radio operators and an understanding of how German intelligence thought. By early 1945, German forces were growing desperate, but their faith in radio intelligence never wavered. Even as fuel shortages grounded aircraft and ammunition dwindled, German intercept units continued to track phantom Allied units across non-existent battlefields. They prepared for attacks that would never come. They reinforced positions that were never threatened. They moved divisions against illusions created by Allied codebreakers. In a war increasingly defined by industrial might, wireless deception became a weapon of pure intellect, and it worked. When the war ended, the surviving members of the 23rd Headquarters Special Troops were sworn to secrecy. Their radio men, who had impersonated entire divisions, received no recognition for decades. Bletchley Park's decrypts confirming the success of the deception remain classified. Only in the late 20th century did historians begin to understand the scale of this invisible battlefield, the war of signals, rhythm, tone, and deception that unfolded in the airwaves above Europe. Today we remember the tanks, the planes, the guns, the battles. But the truth is this: some of the most decisive victories of the war were achieved not with bullets, but with radio waves. And one of the greatest tricks of all was the creation of a division that never existed. A formation the Germans monitored, tracked, feared, and planned around, right up until the final months of the war. A division brought to life by code breakers, kept alive by deceivers, and erased only when the war itself ended.